Hey everybody, how are you? Tony and Sarah here. Hope you guys are having an awesome afternoon. And we thought we'd come in before we go pick up our little kids at school. So we have a little bit peace and quiet until then, right? So hey Tarlise, how are you? Hey everybody. So let's talk about business today, right?
Okay.
So I figured I told Tony, I really just wanted to have a conversation with you guys about, oh gosh, I don't know. I just think that for a lot of us like myself, we tend to get involved in this business and we're super excited about it. But a lot of times, here's my personality. My personality is that I want to be good at everything right away. I'm the type of person that sometimes there are certain sports that I wouldn't play because I knew I would be so crappy at them. I wouldn't do it. And maybe it was my ego. Maybe it's I don't know. I mean, that's probably what it was, right? And so I think too in the business I struggled because I wanted to be good at all different parts of the business, right? Yep. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate or, you like to be good at everything. It's a hard battle. And so I think for a lot of us, like myself, we kind of are always trying to just learn every single skill set in this business. And the reality is that it takes a while to get good at it. And I know for you too, we've talked about how, I just think that learning how to just focus in on one area, it's okay. You don't have to be good at every single part of the business.
Yep.
Early on, right?
Yeah. Well, I just remember when I got into this business, I wanted to be the best at recruiting, the best at getting people to events, the best on conference calls, the best on webinars, and all these different things I wanted to be so good at. And I was horrible at all of them. I wasn't good at nothing. And I remember one of my mentors said, Tony, be known for that one thing. Get good at one thing. Start there. And he's like, here's what I would tell you to do. Get good at recruiting. Be a great recruiter and focus on being a great recruiter and focus on bringing a lot of awesome people into the business. And he says, get really good at that. He goes, that skill set will pay you a lot of money and everything else will work itself out. And he was right. And I remember when I focused on recruiting and I took my focus on everything else because I thought I had to be good at all those things right away, my whole business changed. And that was something that stuck with me, babe, for a long time.
So do you still think that, that's your main thing that you're good at?
No, what I've grown into now, being in the business, as long as I've been in the business now, and especially working the business with you the last, 10, 12, 13 years, something like that, is that I've become really good at different things now. And maybe you're the recruiter and I do other things that I just love to do, whether it's webinars, whether it's conference calls, whether it's events. I love that my skill set is now gone into different areas, and that's awesome, and that's what will happen to you guys too.
Well, yeah, and I think too, when you're in this business, whatever the different skill sets are, it doesn't mean you run away from them and you don't work on them, right? But if there's a certain thing that you're really drawn to, well, then that's something that's going to be really natural to you in the beginning. So really focus in on that. For me, I love this business for relationships. I love friends. I love having many friends. I love learning about people. Yeah. I love to learn about if I sit down with someone, I want to know everything about them, not because I have a motive, just because I have a passion for people. And so I really worked hard on building long-lasting friendships that this is my motto. I believe that every person that comes into my life, either they're going to enrich my life, whether it's on the personal side or on the business side, right? And I hope that I do the same for them. And so my whole thing is every day as I live my life and I go out and I make a friend, really that's what I do every day. It just happens that way, right? And so I've really worked hard on that. And so naturally it's kind of like helped me with developing my skill set for inviting, having people take a look at the business. It's helped me with my skill set with follow-up, which follow-up I in the past, that's not my favorite thing to do. But again, it's part of that relationship building piece. So as I'm building, it kind of naturally happens. And so, so for me, I think, just focusing in, a lot of that stuff will fall into suit. But I will tell you too, I mean, people ask me too, like, are there things in our business that I don't love? Yes. But does that mean I don't do them? No. I still do them. I still do them even though I don't like them. It's just like, it's the whole part of the process, like, of our business, right? And so, there are definitely things in our business I'm not super excited about, but I still do it, right? I still do it. And so, so for me, I would encourage you that, as you're learning this business, like, what part gets you the most excited? I mean, Tony and I, we've kind of have figured out our rhythm in our business. I mean, we both work do all the different skills, right? Whether it's prospecting, inviting, follow-up, getting people started correctly, helping them hit their first rank, all those different pieces. But we also have things that we're just naturally, gifted at, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think for a lot of you guys, it's just a matter of just focusing in on that one thing. And that's what I love about, so many of these companies that are really now focused on, like, the customer side, is that some people, I think it's really important for us to be able to have this amazing customer piece inside of a network marketing company, because the reality is sometimes in the beginning, you might not be a great recruiter, right? And so it might take someone a year to get someone to say yes in the business. I mean, I think about when I first started in the business, my first sign up, God, it probably was like a year and a half, just like struggling, just trying to like figure this out and just talking to enough people and all those things. It was like a year and a half. But I think about, like, why that customer piece is so important is because there are people that are going to come in and they're like, I love acquiring customers. I love connecting people, to my company and my amazing products or services or what have you. And so, I think it's important to be able to have that piece, because to let them run on it, right? And help them, have a win where if you didn't have that in a company, if it's focused heavily on recruiting, you tend to lose people, like you probably would have lost me. Like, because I didn't bring anybody in the first year and a half, I would have, there are a lot of people, they wouldn't have stuck it out like I did. And I don't know if it was because I was smart or I was dumb. I just stuck it out because of that. So I love that piece of it. I think that's really, really important. And so, so again, just finding out what's the skill set that you love that's obviously supernatural to you that you can just focus in on and get really, really good at. I know Melissa Gabrielli was just posting on here how the whole customer acquisition piece, like in her business, that's all she did. She goes, I'm just going to focus on that. And her business exploded versus getting frustrated on some of these other skill sets that were a little bit more challenging, right? I mean, obviously she's going to work on those, but, we're like, hey, let's help you have some victories in this business right away, because it just gives you confidence, and confidence is everything in this business.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as entrepreneurs, just people in general, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we just get stressed out and we worry about things we don't need to worry about, and it really isn't that bad or that crazy or whatever that's in your mind that you're making it up to be. Just relax and, do what you can do and do it well and get good at that one thing. And when you master that, go on to a second thing. When you master that, go on to a third thing. But just keep that focus pretty laser focused, and don't let people get you off to this track or go to this idea, go to this, because before you know it, now you're on 4 or 5 different things and you've accomplished nothing. So just slow down, come back, and get good at that one thing, and I will tell you, your business will explode. Love you, babe.
Yeah, I love you. All right, awesome, guys. Well, that's just kind of a thing we wanted to share today. Hope you guys are having a great one, and we'll definitely talk to you soon. Take care.
See ya.